Picture this. You're walking down the street in the friendliest place on earth, Brooklyn, New York, and you see a Sharia patrol in a showdown with a street gang. Whose side are you on? That's a question that super friendly people in Brooklyn are asking after a bloodbath nearly erupted outside a mosque. The Clarion Project has the best summary of what happened. Story of the week, more interesting than impeachment. Let's read it. Members of New York's Muslim Patrol recently became embroiled in a near-explosive altercation outside the Masjid Taqwa in Brooklyn with members of the Bloods, a notoriously violent gang. I believe that Masjid Taqwa is the mosque of Siraj Wahhaj. 3 of his kids have been locked up on terrorism charges, so you can probably guess what's being taught at his mosque. The Muslim Patrol gained international attention in the fall of 2018 after several of its patrol cars, which look like New York Police Department cars, were spotted in Brooklyn and Staten Island. Imagine one of these cars rolling up on you.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you?
The Bloods are a violent African-American street gang known for trafficking drugs and guns. This criminal organization has made national headlines with targeted assassinations, drive-by shootings, and deadly gun battles with law enforcement. On December 10th, a verbal altercation began in the evening when a teenage boy allegedly disrespected a Muslim woman outside the Brooklyn Mosque on Fulton Street. The boy did not touch the woman, bystanders say, but did speak to her. So, a teenager somehow insulted a Muslim woman outside the mosque. A Muslim patrol member grabbed the teen by the collar and threw him against the gate of the Masjid Taqwa, a local mosque. While the boy was pressed firmly against the fence, the Muslim patrol member held him by the neck and lectured him. That MCP, Muslim Community Patrol officer, snatched that boy up, one witness said. He grabbed him by the collar and threw him up against the gate and held onto him by the neck area. Probably pretty standard behavior for the Muslim Community Patrol, but this wasn't just any teenager. They grabbed the wrong kid this time. After the rebuke, the boy complained to his father, who happens to be a senior member of the local Bloods. The father rallied 6 other Blood members to join him and went to Masjid Taqwa, where at least one Blood member brandished a weapon. One of them was strapped, a witness said of a Blood member who had a firearm. He raised his jacket and flashed that gun. Those dudes came out there to shoot up that masjid. The father, he wanted to mess that MCP officer up. According to the witness, the father said to the Muslim patrol officer, "Dude, I'm going to bust in your censored mouth if you ever put your hands on my child again." The situation escalated after the Muslim patrol member called for backup. He got on his walkie-talkie and called for backup. Soon, several Muslim patrol cars arrived with sirens screaming and lights flashing. Notice, he didn't call the cops. He called for his fellow Muslim Community Patrol officers who showed up in their fake police cars.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you?
Witnesses reported mutual shouting as the Bloods confronted the original Muslim patrol member, who was quickly shoved into the mosque by his comrades to protect him. Why would he need protecting? He had the entire Muslim Community Patrol with him. I guess they're only brave when they're roughing up teenagers. It was going to be something big out there, one witness said. The Bloods were shouting, "You all are running around here playing like you're the real police." Fair point. "You all want to put your hands on these little kids? We don't give a censored about your masjid. Censored your masjid." Some bystanders also reportedly taunted the Muslim patrol, shouting, "Put your hands on me. Come on, put your hands on me." Apparently, members of the Muslim Community Patrol are only willing to put their hands on children. Reminds me of Muhammad. As tensions rose, a New York Police Department patrol unit arrived and used its loudspeaker to tell the 2 arguing factions, more like 2 arguing gangs, to disperse and to keep it moving. One witness, familiar with the Bloods, said, "These Blood dudes are from 8th Avenue in Brooklyn, and they are one of the harder core Bloods over there. So those MCP officers are going to get some beef. Better be halal beef." As the Bloods dispersed, one Blood member turned and told the Muslim Patrol members, "This is not over. It's just begun." The Muslim Patrol originally said its purpose was to serve as a liaison between Muslims and the NYPD. But after the mosque shootings in New Zealand last March, in which a gunman live-streamed his murder of 51 Muslims on Facebook, the Muslim Patrol publicly altered its purpose. It now describes itself as a law enforcement organization, claiming its goal is to protect members of the local community from escalating quality of life nuisance crimes. Yet bullying and gangster-like tactics have been reported by locals in areas where the patrol operates, creating a backlash against the self-described civilian patrol organization. So, a teenager insulted a Muslim woman. We don't know what he said. He may have deserved to get snatched up. I'm not saying that the Muslim Patrol was allowed to snatch him up or that they should have snatched him up. Sometimes people deserve something even though the law protects them. If you're walking down the street and some guy says something nasty about your wife, he deserves to get punched in the mouth, even though you're not allowed to punch him in the mouth. Likewise, some kids these days deserve to get snatched up, even if we're not allowed to snatch them up. But notice the problem here. These guys on the Muslim Community Patrol think that they're allowed to put their hands on a kid because the kid said something. They're not allowed to do that. They should have been arrested for that. In fact, since they were holding that kid against his will, this goes beyond assault and battery. But this kid's dad didn't call the cops. He called his fellow Bloods. In a panic, the Muslim Patrol called for backup. Fortunately, actual police officers showed up and broke things up. Now think about this. These guys on the Muslim Community Patrol are supposed to be protecting the Muslim community, but they're endangering the Muslim community because they think that they're allowed to go around roughing up kids in the neighborhood, not realizing that there are some kids in Brooklyn that you do not want to mess with. Now there's the beginning of a turf war between the Bloods and the Muslim Community Patrol. And that's why you don't let guys like this pull up on people with fake cop cars and fake badges. They clearly think they're above the law. It's a matter of time before they get someone seriously hurt or killed. So, what do you think about New York's Muslim Community Patrol? What do you think about their squad cars? More importantly, suppose your teenaged son insulted a Muslim woman outside a mosque, and a member of a self-appointed Muslim Community Patrol grabbed your son and roughed him up a bit. How would you react? If it were my son, depending on what he said, I might be more upset with my son than with whoever snatched him up. But I'd still have a problem with someone thinking he's allowed to grab kids over something they said. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section.